Alright kids, here are the answers to quiz 3. So here we go. Number 1, the answer is C. This is how we do that. I'll do this on the side. We're going to take the square root of negative 28, write the original problem. We know this is like saying the square root of, the negative sign becomes I squared, right? Or negative 1, or the square root, I'm sorry, I don't want to confuse you. Let's start that again. 28, it's like saying negative 7 times 4. Square root of 4 is 2. The square root of a negative is I, and the square root of 7 is just 7. So that's your answer. Pause the video here if you need to. Okay, number 2. Okay, so on number 2, we're going to take the original problem, which is going to be negative 5 plus 3i plus 5i minus 4 plus 4i. I hope you could see that. It looks a little small. Okay, so we're just going to combine like terms. We want the constants. We got negative 5, and I'll use a different color so you can see it. Negative 5. Are there any constants here? Nope. Any constants here? Nope. Constants here? Yeah, there's a negative, or we're going to subtract 4, and that's a positive 4. So we're taking negative 5, okay, and we're going to subtract a positive 4. So it's going to be negative 9, right? And I'm just going to cross those out so I don't see those again. I don't like that. Okay, and then we're going to focus on our i's. We got 3i, 5i, and then 4i. So here we go. We got positive 3i plus 5i is 8i, and then 8i, we have a positive 4i, but it would say we have a minus here, so we have 8i minus a positive 4i is going to be positive 4i. So your answer should be negative 9 plus 4i, which is B. Okay? Pause the video here if you need to write this down. Here's number 3. This one was a doozy, right? So I would have just hid the original problem. Well, here's the original problem, and I'm going to hide this last term here, okay? So you should first multiply negative 8 minus I times 3 minus 4I here. Then we're going to FOIL or multiply, right? Distribute each of these. So negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Negative 8 times negative 4i is positive 32i. Then we got negative I times 3 is negative 3i. And then negative I times negative 4i is positive 4i squared. Okay? Then we're going to start simplifying this. Okay? So we know that I could simplify this 4 and I squared is going to be negative 4. Minus 24 is negative 28. Okay, and then we've got 32 minus 3i is positive 29i. Okay, that's simplified, but that wasn't the original problem. We still have to multiply that times, if you notice up here, look up here, there was something here, right? I covered. We have to multiply again, you see that? So we have to multiply that times negative 5 minus 6i. So it's not so bad when you see it this way. Alright, so we got negative 28 times negative 5 is positive 140. Right, I just multiplied these two. And then we got 28 times negative 6i is positive 168i, right? And we got 29i times 5 is positive 145i, right? And then we have 29i times negative 6i is going to be negative 174 I squared, right? I squared in this negative is like saying positive 174. So positive 174 plus 140 is going to be 314. And then 168 plus 145 is going to be positive 313 I. And I hope I got the right answer here. The answer is What? I made a mistake. That's okay. Let's figure out where I made a mistake. Let's see. Looks like I made a mistake right around here. So that's the third term. Yes, I did make a mistake. You see that? So if I was on a test, I'd stop for a moment and I'm noticing, hey, that's not 145i, positive 145. I was supposed to do positive 29 times a negative 5, which is supposed to be a negative 145. So I made a silly mistake, silly goose mistake, right? It's supposed to be negative, right? And if that's the case, then this is not correct. So I'm going to erase this stuff here. Sorry about that. But I also want you to see that it's okay to make mistakes because you need to know how to persevere to get the right answer. So there's your correct answer. 168 minus 145 is positive 23i. So, and I got that right. Good. Letter A is the correct answer. Pause the video here if you want to write this down. Okay, number 4 has to do with i's. So this one's not so bad. Just start canceling things out. That cancels out with this, leaving just I to the third in the numerator. And if we raise that to the outside, the bottom's just a 1, so it's really like saying I to the third raised to the 8th, which is equal to I to the 24th. So we take 24, remember, divided by 4 is 6, and our remainder is 0. Anything to the 0 power, or I to the 0, is just 1. So the answer is C. Pause the video here, write this down if you need to, review. Okay, continuing on here, number 5. Here we go. We got a. We need to rationalize this, right? This looks like we can't really do anything. I can't simplify this with that because there's no I there. I might want to do that, but we're not supposed to do that. So we don't like I in the denominator. So let's just multiply the denominator by I. You don't have to multiply by a negative, okay? So we're multiplying the denominator and the whole numerator. See, I use parentheses. So we're going to multiply. We got 16i plus 7i squared all over negative times I is negative I squared. Negative I squared is like saying negative 1 times the negative, which is just equal to 1. You see that? Numerator, we got 16i, and then we got 7i squared becomes negative 7 plus 16i. That's your final answer here, which is going to be it's over 1, so again we could write it as negative 7 plus 16i. This is the correct way to write it, by the way, but the computer has it this way, and that's okay because our answer, that's okay because that is the commutative property. Please pause the video here to copy this down. Okay, number 6, this is the same idea. We got negative 8 plus 7i. I'm going to write the problem down here. So you got negative 8 plus 7i over negative 8 minus 6i. We got a whole numerator and a whole denominator, and of course we have this I in the denominator. We can't just cancel these things out. You have to cancel whole denominators with whole numerators, and these are different. So to multiply by the conjugate, which is negative 8 plus 6i, and we're going to do that in the numerator as well. Okay, so when we do the denominator, we just square the first term, which is negative 8 squared, which is 64, square the second term, which is 36i squared, and put a minus sign in the middle, because it's a difference of squares. Numerator, negative 8 times negative 8 is 64. That's this times that, right? Negative 8 times positive 6i is negative 48i. Positive 7 times negative 7i times negative 8 is negative 56i. And then positive 7i times positive 6i is positive 42i squared. Okay, now I can combine like terms. The numerator, I can combine 48 minus 56. So when I do that, it's going to be negative 104. So we got 64, let's just do this one step at a time. Negative 104i, right? And then we have this 42i squared, which is like saying minus 42. So 64 minus 42 is really like saying 22. And it's positive 22. And then the denominator, the same thing. We have 36i squared, and it's a negative 36i squared, which means it's like negative 36 times the negative 1, which is going to be positive 36, which is 64 plus 36 is 100, right? And I noticed that I could try to simplify this, but these are all even, so I could definitely simplify, right? 2 goes in each of these. So 22 divided by 2 is 11. 104 divided by 2 is 52. And then the denominator divided by 2 is 50. I hope I got this right. Why did I get this wrong? I may have made a mistake. Okay, so 52. Oh boy, I made a mistake someplace. This is embarrassing. And again, I made a huge mistake at the very beginning. If you look up here, I put negatives here, and that's not in the original problem. But that's okay, we'll fix it right now. Okay, so these should have been positive 8, positive 8. So this is still correct. This is still correct right here. The denominator is correct, but the numerator is incorrect. So I'm going to redo this really quick, the numerator. It's not supposed to be negative, it's supposed to be positive here. So I'm just going to erase this. Sorry about that. Okay. So again, this is a process you would do. Okay, went too fast with you kids. I'm sorry about that. Got to slow down here. Okay, so negative 8 times positive 8 is negative 64. I'm doing the numerator here. Negative 8 times positive 6 is negative 48i. And then positive 7i times positive 8 is positive 56i. And then 7i times 6i is positive 42i squared. Okay, when I do that, the numerator, we have negative 64, and we got positive 42i squared. 42i squared becomes negative 42, so negative 62 minus negative 42 is going to be negative 108. Okay, and the negative 48i plus 56i is positive 8i. And then now, while we simplify this, 2 goes in each of these. 100 divided by 2 is 50. That's where we got that. Negative 108 divided by 2 is negative 54. And then 8i divided by 2 is positive 4i. Okay, which is... Did I make a mistake again? Oh my gosh. Oh, 56. Wow. Fix this again. Going too fast. Slow down, Mr. Rink. It's supposed to be not 108, but 106. So let me fix that. And 106. The rest is correct. So 106 divided by 2 is not 54, but 53. Wow, that was a big fail. Anyways, that is the correct answer here. Sorry I went too fast. Please pause the video and watch this. Okay, this one now, we have to distribute. This is simplified, so we're going to multiply 2a times 7a squared is going to be 14a cubed. And then we got 2a times 5a is going to be positive 10a squared. And then we got 2a times 8 is going to be positive 16a. Okay, and then we're going to continue. Negative 4 times 7a is negative 28a squared. I think that's right. Yep. Negative 4 times positive 5 is negative 20a. And then we have negative 4 times positive 8 is negative 32. Okay, combine like terms. We got 14a cubed. We bring that down. We got 10a squared minus 28a squared is going to be negative 18a squared. And then these are done. And then we got 16a minus 28 is negative 4a. And then, of course, we got minus 32. And I hope I got this one right at least. Did I get this one right? Yay! That's good. Okay, so that's D. You can pause the video here to watch that. Okay, number 8, factor each completely. This one has a GCF here, so you could take out a 6, and you could take out an n in each of these, right? So it's going to be n squared minus 3n plus 72 divided by 6 is 12, right? And if I tried to factor this, I couldn't. You can't factor anymore, so that's it. That's your answer. Pause the video here. Okay, number 9. Okay, this one, there is no GCF, but I could figure out what times itself will equal to, well, to put this, rewrite this down here. I want to break this apart in the middle here. So we have x squared times positive 120 is positive 120x squared. Okay, so what two numbers multiply to be 120x squared that add up to be negative 22? It's going to be negative 10x times negative 12x, yes. And then we could do our parenthesis thing here, and here, of course, put a plus sign in the middle, and then we could factor out an x, so it's going to be x minus 10, and we could factor out a negative 12, so it's going to be x minus 10 again, and then we got x minus 10 times x minus 12 is the correct answer. Okay? Please pause the video here to look at this one, write it down. Okay, on this one I could factor out a 6. So I got 6. I'll just show you this really quick. Okay, and this is how you do number 10. Pause the video, watch this. Alright, this is how we do number 11. Okay, pause the video here. Okay, number 12. I'm going to show you how to do this problem. Is letter B. Pause the video. Okay, last one, 13. I'm going to rewrite it down here. So I recognize the pattern. It's going to be x squared minus 6 times x is 6x. That's 36. And that's it. I can't do anything else. Okay. Which is letter D. Okay. That concludes the quiz.